WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 11.
Developing news at this hour. Search and rescue efforts are underway in Washington, D.C. after a midair collision near Ronald Reagan National Airport. It's our top story at 11. Thank you for joining us. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Sherry Jones has the night off. A passenger jet collided with a military helicopter while trying to land tonight with more than 60 people on board. It happened around 9 o'clock. Details are limited, but we do know multiple agencies are searching the Potomac River right now. The terminal is still open, but all flights out of Reagan National have been halted while crews search the area looking for victims. The jet involved was arriving in Washington, D.C. from Wichita, Kansas. According to CBS News, the plane was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, and 3 soldiers were aboard the Black Hawk helicopter. Stay with 6 News. We are following this story closely for you tonight, and we'll provide all the latest updates here on air, online at WLNS.com, and on the 6 News app. Well, back here at home, there was a major crash in Meridian Township this evening. It happened just before 8 o'clock near the intersection of Jolly Road and Okemos Road. Multiple vehicles were involved, and one had significant front-end damage. 6 News has reached out to Meridian Township Police for details on what happened and whether anyone was hurt, and we will update you on this crash as well on air and online as we get that new information. Republicans are in control of the State House, and today a group of them introduced 2 bills focused on gender in Michigan schools. Under the first bill, schools would have to require that all multiple occupancy restrooms and changing rooms be designated by biological sex, and people would only be allowed to use the facilities that correspond to the sex on their birth certificate. Exceptions would be made for things like maintenance, custodial services, and medical emergencies. The other bill would apply to individual sports where male and female athletes have separate competitions. Under this bill, athletes' records and results would only be recorded for their biological sex, quote, determined at the conception of the human being, end quote, even if they compete at events for the opposite sex. Separately, bipartisan bills were introduced in the State House to extend tax exemptions for gun safety devices. The state exempted things like gun locks, gun safes, and lock boxes from sales tax and use tax through the end of 2024. These bills would extend that exemption through the end of this year. They have been referred to the State House Committee on Finance. Crime Stoppers works because of your tips, and this week Lansing police have released pictures of 2 people wanted in local crimes, hoping that you'll be able to help identify them. So take a look and see if you have the information they need. First up this week, take a look at this surveillance photo released by the Lansing Police Department. Officials say this man committed an assault back on November 11th. It happened on the 6200 block of South Pennsylvania Avenue on the south side of the capital city. Police want to hear from anyone who recognizes this man or knows what happened. Also this week, Lansing police are trying to identify 2 people who they say attempted to steal a vehicle. It happened on the 6200 block of South Cedar on the south side back on Saturday. One of the suspects, pictured here, was described as being between 16 and 20 years old with dreads and a black puffy jacket. Both suspects arrived and left the scene in a stolen vehicle. If you know anything that can help police find those people, call Crime Stoppers at 517-483-STOP. Your information could make you eligible for a cash reward of up to $1,000, and you don't have to give your name to leave a tip. The American Lung Association is urging Michigan lawmakers to help reduce the human and financial cost of tobacco use. The 2025 State of Tobacco Control Report evaluates state and federal policies on actions taken to eliminate tobacco use and recommends laws and policies to help save lives. And take a look. You can see how Michigan was graded on things like funding, coverage, and access to prevention programs, smoke-free workplace laws, and ending the sale of flavored tobacco products. The report says Michigan should focus on passing legislation to license all tobacco retailers, including e-cigarette retailers, and work to keep more younger people away from tobacco. Just hours after being sworn in as the new Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy ordered his department to propose new fuel economy standards for the auto industry. That memorandum came out last night saying the current rules for fuel economy are contrary to Trump administration policies. Duffy says eliminating rules for gas mileage will make it easier for people to afford gas-powered vehicles. Critics, on the other hand, say cars with lower gas mileage will cost drivers more in the long run and make American automakers less competitive in the international market. Last year, both candidates for president promised to end federal taxes on tips earned by workers. Now, as Maddie Biertemple reports, lawmakers are trying to put that promise into action while avoiding unintended consequences.
Now in office, President Donald Trump renewed his campaign promise in Las Vegas this weekend.
No tax on tips.
Both Republicans and Democrats in Congress are now trying to make that the law, especially Nevada lawmakers, whose state has the nation's highest concentration of tipped workers.
I support no tax on tips, but I think it has to be done in a fair way.
Congresswoman Dina Titus says it should come with a minimum wage raise. She's co-sponsoring the TIPS Act to do that.
You've got to be sure that employers don't shift the burden just to tips for income.
But some tax policy analysts say that shift could be an unintended consequence.
Could be that you do see suddenly a big adoption of tips in a bunch of new industries.
Alex Morishanu with the Tax Foundation says tipped workers are less than 5% of the labor force, and an even smaller portion earn enough to owe taxes.
A substantial chunk of tipped workers would not see a benefit from the policy.
But Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto says tax relief for those in the service industry is worth pursuing.
That's my family, working in that industry. My father worked in that industry. If there's a way that we can help them keep more money in their pockets, I'm always going to fight to figure out how to make that happen.
Cortez Masto is co-sponsoring a bipartisan bill, but she says other policies like the child tax credit need to be part of the picture.
It should be a comprehensive approach, and that's what I'm looking for.
The policy is estimated to cost about $110 billion over a decade. In Washington, I'm Maddie Biertemple.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Good news and bad news in the forecast. I mean, if you're looking for warmer temperatures, we have that, but it's kind of come at a price with some mixed precipitation potential over the next 6 days or so. There's a look at the high temperature trend. We go into the mid-40s for tomorrow, and that's going to come with a lot of wind, and we could easily climb above that if enough warm air blows in from the southwest. Then it's cooler Friday. That can lead to some problems with some mixed precipitation. We're back in the 40s on Sunday, and then kind of up and down temperature-wise as we head into next week. Temps tonight are sitting for the most part in the 20s, although Charlotte now down to 19 degrees, but we'll start to rise. A few clouds roll in during the overnight hours. Wind chills are pretty much the same as the temperature. Winds have calmed quite a bit since earlier today. So we check out the view tonight. Our McLaren cam temperature now sits at 24 degrees after a high of 41. Of course, the winds earlier today gusting close to 30 miles per hour. How about Grand Ledge? Current temperature, that's at 22 degrees. High today 40 with a 35 mile per hour wind gust. In the Jackson area tonight, we've still got partly cloudy skies. Temperatures at 23 degrees after a high of 39. Hillsdale temperature also on the cool side at 25 degrees after a high of 40 and a wind gust up to 32 miles per hour. Satellite radar, a few clouds streaming in from the northwest, a few snow showers to our north. Nothing that's going to create any issues for us tonight or on area roadways tomorrow morning, but it is quite a bit colder to the north. I mean, we're still sitting in the 20s, but notice some single digits and teens in the UP and into southern Canada below zero, but all this Arctic air is kind of pushing away from the region, and the warmer temperatures will be building in with those southwest winds for tomorrow. Precision cast then tonight through tomorrow morning. Temperatures will start out in the 20s and we'll have partly cloudy skies. As we head through the day, we'll have lots of sunshine into the late afternoon when clouds really start to increase. Temperatures above the surface tomorrow night will be relatively warm. So as precipitation moves in, it should be in the form of rain. However, on Friday, we start to cool things above the surface. We'll be in the mid-30s or so here at the surface. And the combination of those two, I am a little concerned that some areas may mix with or change to some wet snow, because if that happens, we could easily pick up a couple inches of a slushy snowfall. But assuming we stay in the mid to upper 30s, primarily rain, but I am watching that very closely. Either way, the storm system will begin to push away from the region by Friday evening as tranquil weather builds in for Saturday. Yet another system which could bring some freezing rain and then some sleet and then rain to the area as we head into Sunday. Tonight's forecast, overnight low pretty much where we are right now, so we'll start to rise through early tomorrow morning. Not a lot, but we're in the mid-20s. We're on our way to highs, though, in the mid-40s. Winds at times tomorrow could get gusty, but nothing too out of hand. The 6-day forecast as we move into Friday, a wintry mix. We'll call it that because some freezing rain or some wet snow will be possible. Then over the weekend, same thing on Sunday, should change to rain showers as we go back into the 40s. As we head into next week, we're looking at 30s for highs and 20s by Monday and Tuesday, followed by another system which could bring some freezing rain or sleet or snow to the area Wednesday, changing to rain as we move into Thursday. So not cold enough for just snow, but sometimes when you don't get the snow, you get things you don't want, like some freezing rain.
Yeah, I would like to avoid that if possible. Either give us the snow, give us the rain. Yeah, that's the tricky part. So two systems kind of that could produce that freezing rain that we're watching, David.
Yeah, I mean, either time it looks like it changes over to rain, but of course if it happens during the morning commute, it could be messy.
Okay, but Thursday, looking really good.
Thursday's our pick, yes.
All right, David, thank you. Well, breaking news for you tonight here in mid-Michigan. 6 News is checking in on a structure fire that's happening right now in Charlotte. It's on Cochrane Avenue between Amity and McClure Streets. We're told that road is closed right now, and we will, of course, be following the story and bring you updates online and have more details for you coming up tomorrow morning on 6 News This Morning. So stay with us for updates on that. Well, moving on and coming up here on 6 News at 11, the White House has reversed course on the controversial funding freeze announced yesterday. We'll take a closer look after the break. Thanks for watching. We're coming right back.